Hello and welcome back to the Scrap Zone. I'm Julie, and in today's video I'm going to share this really easy one-sheet mini album. Okay, I might have used a second sheet. I'm also using the God Candy paper collection from Close to My Heart. So let's get started on how this mini album comes together. So here you have the base of this mini album, and it is one sheet of cardstock. I've gone ahead and I've cut it and I've pre-scored all of the sections that I'm needing, and here are the center pockets that will actually act as the binding system for this mini album. Now this is pretty cool. I didn't come up with it. I did find it either on Pinterest or somewhere on the internet, so I just thought that I would give it a try and add a little bit more to it. So here you see me using double-sided tape. You can use whatever you have on hand, red line tape, whatever, but you need something that's nice and strong because these two small pockets in the center are actually the binding system for the entire mini album. So this measures 4 by 6 and it holds 16 pictures. So this is a really nice Halloween keepsake, and it's so much fun to put together. I just thought that I just had to try it. So here you see me folding and shaping the base of this mini album. Now I'm folding back and forth, and it's a repeat from the left side to the right side. So whatever you're doing on the left side, you're just going to do the mirror image on the other side. So these flaps that are being folded inwards, you just have to be mindful that you're folding on the outer edge of the score line, just so that you're kind of leaving yourself a little bit of wiggle room to open and close your book. And pretty much this is it. So this is your 4 by 6 one sheet mini album, and I thought, well, that was pretty cool, but why not add a little bit more interaction to this book with flaps on the top, a couple of side pockets, and really neat pockets on the inside that are cut on an angle. So off camera here, I've gone ahead and I've done my flaps for those panels that are on the exterior, and then when you open them up on the inside, I'm also going to create 2 side pockets. Now all of these pieces have been pre-cut and scored. I'm going ahead here and I'm added the double-sided tape, and I'm going to just miter my corners, and we're going to start putting interactive parts to this mini album. So I'm going to pop that right on the top, right on the center, and we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I like to make sure that everything is nice and secure, and then I just keep on working until I am done, which really didn't take all that long. This is definitely an afternoon project, so I'd say maybe 3 hours, if that. Anyways, it was a lot of fun to make, so I was not keeping track of time. So here I'm showing you that I'm removing the bulk from the corners of those little pockets. It's important to remove the bulk out of this mini album because it's one sheet of cardstock and it gets bulky pretty fast. So the first thing you have to do is fold back on those score lines, and when your 2 corners are overlapping, you just go back and make sure that they are not, like there's no overlapping on those mitered corners, and it really removes the excess bulk, and that way you have more place to put your pictures. So we're going to add that small pocket, and here I'm showing you that adding a little bit of liquid glue will save this project. This double-sided tape is awesome because it's really nice and sticky. However, if you put that down and you want to lift it up, it's not happening. So next up here, we're going to add the center pockets to this little mini album, and I decided to make those on an angle, so just cut them on an angle. So I've gone ahead here and I've added 2 little pencil lines, and I'm going to use my paper trimmer here, and I'm just going to align those 2 little dots, and I'm going to slice off the top portion of this pocket. And you've got this cute angle. It gives just a different element to the little album. So I'm going to do that for the left side, and I'm going to do it for the right side. Now, very much like the other two side pockets, we're going to fold back on the score line. We're going to remove the bulk from the corner piece. If you remember, we kind of miter cut that little corner, and then I'm going to add here a little bit of glue, or a lot. Sometimes it just comes out way too much. I'm just going to rub some of that off right here, and I'm going to add that to the center panel, one on the left side and one on the right. So this is what you get when you add one more sheet of paper, or cardstock I should say. And I really liked the different elements that it created for this album. I'm also going to tie it up with a belly band, but first I'm going to bring in all of this beautiful paper. Now it's all been pre-cut, and we're going to start putting it on to all of those flaps and folds and pockets. The one thing you have to be mindful here is that when you're cutting out that little notch for your pocket, you have to make sure that your pumpkins are right side up. I really love this Halloween paper pack. Like, it's got beautiful patterns, but it is busy and it can get busy. So what I did is I did a mirror image on the left side and on the right side. I paired up certain papers together just to give it that really nice element, and I added a few black mats to break out the difference, and I can't wait to dive into all of those stickers from the sticker sheet. They are so yummy. So let's keep on building our book. So the inside here, I've got my little pumpkins, and again, make sure that you put that little notch on the right side so that your pumpkins are not upside down, and we're going to add the pattern paper on that little angled pocket. And I'm using here large sheets or full sheets of pattern paper, and I'm sneaking it all the way inside the pocket. Remember when we folded that over? So when you take your pattern paper and you sneak it all the way inside, when I add my photo mats later on, they're not going to snag on those corners. So that's an important tip for you too. I know sometimes we want to save on the paper, but this is not where you save, believe me. So we're going to add those two elements here on this side, like it anchors it really, really well. And we are done the assembly of the paper. I'm going to add my pattern paper on the front. And as you can see here, I'm adding quite a bit of glue because it is a little bit bulky. So I want to make sure that it doesn't lift up. Now, if you're familiar with Close to My Heart cardstock, you know that the inside core is white, and it was perfect for this project. I was able to sand it off and show off the little dot from an embossing folder I had in my stash. But when I put it against the pumpkins, I felt that the white was too white because the base of the album is done in French vanilla. So I decided to pull this new Sundance color, which matches the paper perfectly, and I just ink distressed it all, and I created my own paper. Now, of course, this kit comes with Halloween sequins. Now, of course, we needed to make a shaker for that, right? So here you see me kind of deciding on how I'm going to create my little shaker, and I decided to use the sticker because the spider web was a little bit more dainty, and that way I can add a title in the center. I can add all of my little sequins. So let me show you how I put my shaker element together. I use my stylus to kind of separate that circle from the backing. I use my little rub and remove eraser to peel off that little transparent film, and then I add my anti-static pouch to kind of take away some of the static. Now I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to add just regular glue on the back side of the frame, and I'm just going to add my clear acetate right on top, and I'm going to continue on with the back area of the shaker element. Now I'd like to know how you guys put yours together. There's a few ways, but this seems to work quite well for me. So I'm going to pop that on there. We're going to give it a chance to dry. And now I'm going to be able to pull the circle part off of the carrying sheet. Now I keep the top portion on because otherwise when you pull on the circle, it's going to lose its shape, and it's going to make it very, very difficult for you to just tack it down on the back end of your shaker element. So again, I'm going to use here just a little bit of powder on the inside so that my little sequins don't stick to the inside, and then there you have it, a cute little shaker element. Now for my belly band here, I did go ahead and I put it together, but we're going to have to wait until the end because I kind of did that way too fast. Keep that element for the end, definitely. I'm going to add here just a little bit of flair to my little tags. So I cut 2 black ones and a pattern paper one, and then I'm just adding a little topper in the black, and I'm going to add that really cute pattern paper, just a little strip of it. And just by adding a few details to those tags, they look like they were all custom made. Well, I guess they were, right? Custom made for this album. I really like the way that they really turned out, and by adding a little bit of ink on the edges, they are perfect. Now, this here is what I call my accordion fold photo mats. Now I'm using a 12-inch piece of cardstock, so I have to add 1 piece at the top so that I have a trifold. And I'm just going to add a little bit of pattern paper on some of them. I'm going to skip every second one. And then I've got a place to add a 3x4 photo, and they tuck right into that little angled pocket. Now for my tags, you could probably put a couple more in there. There is room, but I decided just to put 1 on each because I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Not just yet anyways. And they have to go all the way inside the pocket. So that little notch that I created with my punch board, if you don't have that tool, you can use a half circle punch, but you definitely need to have that so that you can pull your little tags out. Now off camera, I picked over all of that sticker sheet and I decided to group elements together. So anything that was like a little candy, I put it together. Anything that was a leaf, I put it together. So here I used to back those little stickers, that scrap piece from the shaker element that I did. So always hold on to your scrap, you never know when you might need them. And I'm just going to add here those beautiful stickers, like the little girl and boy on either side of the album. I just find that it really frames it, and their size was absolutely perfect. So I went in and I added those in. I kind of clustered together those little leaves to further embellish my photo mat, and here I'm adding just a few little stars here and there. Now I did want to add a little bit more to the front panel of those photo mats, but they were kind of busy, so I decided just to add a few of those cute little sayings right at the bottom, so it kind of frames it nicely and it's not too much. Now that I'm looking at it, maybe if I would have added a black band across the center and added my words on it, they probably would have popped more, but that's an idea for another project. So I'm going to go ahead here and sneak those inside, and I'm going to complete my little book. And see how bulky it is now? Again, I went into my stash and look what I found. I found this awesome baker twine that I could use for my tags. So I'm just going to rope those through. I'm going to add a little knot at the top because I know that my little tails are going to be short and I don't want them to get unraveled. So I'm going to trim those off, and then I'm going to separate the little baker's twine, and it just gives it that really nice spooky element. Well, there's nothing spooky about this paper. It's so cute. I really liked playing with this paper pack, can't you tell? So let's get back to my belly band. So I did it at the beginning, and now my book is nice and thick. So let me introduce you to my Undo product, which has saved many of projects that I've worked on. It's not friendly though. It's kind of smelly, so you have to make sure your window is open, and if you don't like chemical smells, this is not the solution for you. But every once in a while I can use it and I can just redo some of the elements of my project, and it works for me. So let's take a look at the completed project. So you've got your belly band that opens up, you've got this one flap, and then you've got the other flap on the other side. So I really like the way that that turned out. Inside here you've got your trifold for more pictures. So you've got some on the front and on the back, so it's mimicked on the other side as well. We've got a couple of, those are 3x4 photos, and that works out well. And here I'm just showing you that those two pockets are actually the binding system for this mini album. So again, it does start with one sheet. I just added a little bit more flair to it, I guess. And then you've got these photo mats here, and you can actually put some photos on the landscape side, which is always a good thing. I'm just showing you here how everything is mimicked from the left to the right. So you've got the top portion on both sides, and then you've got the flaps that open up. So I really hope you've enjoyed this project. It was a lot of fun to make. If you're brand new to my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click that little gray bell to receive notifications and see my upcoming projects. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and have a wonderful week. If you like mini albums, you might want to look at this next video right here.